Sleeping with my sister's husband. Dear Pastor, I am 43 and I am not proud of what I'm about to say. Because of my needs, I had to do something that I cannot let my sister know. I was working and taking care of my daughter and myself. When the pandemic hit Jamaica, I lost my job. I decided I would leave my daughter with one of my sisters and go to America to see if I could get some money to pay my mortgage. I went to America, but my daughter was not happy living with my sister and things did not go as planned with me in America. I was promised a job, but I did not like the type of job nor the people with whom I was working. My brother-in-law came to America and he called me. I visited him and we slept together. It was not planned, but I told him if I did not pay my mortgage, I would lose my house. I was nearly 4 months in arrears and I was scared. My brother-in-law promised he would assist me. I did not believe him. He assured me that he would, but I would have to give him something. We had sex that night and the following day I went to work. He was leaving for Jamaica, so I went to see him and he gave me $300 US. I had sex with him again and this time I did everything he asked me to do. I did not hold back. He promised he would pay my mortgage. He kept his word. He paid all the arrears. When I realized it was paid off, I cried because my sister and I has always been close and I never thought I would go to bed with her husband. Her husband encouraged me to get another job or come home. I asked him how would I manage. He said he will take care of me until I picked up another job, so I came home. This man and I have a good thing going and nobody knows. He's a manager. He comes to see me during the day while my daughter is at school. He gives me money every month to pay my mortgage and to help with my daughter. My sister asked me how I was managing and I told her I am managing well because I have a boyfriend. She does not know that it is her husband and I think she will unalive me if she should ever find out. I promised this man that any day I find a man, our affair will have to come to an end. He jokingly said it will not because I have tied him to me but not with food. Right now, I feel like a kept woman. Whenever I go to see my sister, she's always talking wonderful things about her husband. I can say she's speaking the truth because I have the same experience with him. My brother-in-law doesn't have anything to worry about because I will never let him down. I'd love to hear your feedback on this story. Remember to like and follow for more. Bye!
People. Que pasa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the Med Scarlet News with a buzz. So based on the audio you heard from this video, people, you always have to question when you see a video and an audio and the video does not correlate to the audio. So in other words, it seems as if somebody is selling some sorts of products being here and they're using a nice looking girl to pretty much sell that product. And then you hear the story. You have to wonder if, like back in the days when you go buy ackee and you have to buy the saltfish or buy the tomato with it, if what they are saying is true or the ulterior motive is to sell this product. So while they are selling you this product, them give you some cock and bull and Nancy Brother Tuckman story. So pretty much put the video aside and let's talk about what this lady says or said. First thing first, if you as a man asleep with your brother, wife, girlfriend, vice versa, you as a woman asleep with your sister, man, you would go in the category of the lowest of scumbagism. There is nothing worse than you can do. There is no other low that you can go whenever you sleep with your friend, man, whether it's your boyfriend or girlfriend or even worse, your own BLOOD, sister and brother. The only solution to that is that you'll be placed in some sorts of dumper truck, one of the stinking one with all sorts of fly and maggots, and that vehicle is driven to Riverton and just dump you out, and then some sorts of DUMP fire kinda just flares up. You are no lower than low. What we've realized is that with this new generation. Meaning, me I gonna say probably if you're under 30, it is a anything goes. There's no sorts of law. Everybody is willing to do just about anything for the come up. Come being the operative word. So therefore, they have lost all dignity. They have lost all pride. In order to get their bills paid, in order to send them pick and go to school, them will do just about anything. It does not matter who them cross. There is no sorts of line in the sand that they won't cross. People, me no know what to say. However, if you are somebody in your 30s or younger, the options out there is very minimal. Not to say that you know have some older lady in them 30, 40, 50 or go up that are not some sorts of loose ball also. However, this new generation leaves a whole lot to be desired. You can't trust them. They will do just about anything. So when you hear somebody comes on social media and like me say, this is probably a sham, a scam, them a chop the line, so therefore them a sell this hair product, so therefore them a give some sorts of a Nancy brother Tukuman story. So therefore they might be just talking, it might not exist. However, what I know exists is what she is talking about. It is at some sorts of theater in a Jamaica somewhere, some little young skettle or sketelina or tramp or SLUT is doing the same thing that this lady is talking about. So people, me just say, that is my opinion on the whole thing. It is just my opinion. Maybe you feel otherwise, or maybe you are saying to yourself, well, if me need my bills paid, me I go do it too. Well, you then fall in the category of going to Riverton dump. Point blank and period. Further on in the news and continuing on the theme of low-life scumbags, one of our irrelevant authority known as NEPA. Now we see that there's been a whole bunch of controversy brewing as it pertains to an apartment complex known as Charlie Mont's, in which a CEO of the National Water Commission, his name is Mark Barnett, and his wife is the holders, the developers of those places. It is said that when they got the permit, they were supposed to have 12 one-bedroom apartment or condos. However, they then develop 6 2-bedroom and then 6 3-bedroom, so therefore more profit, less tax to pay, stealing from government purse. That case or file was sent to the DPP. The DPP then made a rule saying that the time has elapsed. Statute of limitation had run out. It was supposed to be filed by December of 2023. However, it was filed, unfortunately, coincidentally, on January of 2024. Since then, we see that there's been a whole bunch of blame game being played by the KSAMC, National Environment, NEPA. This one is pointing at that one is pointing at that one. Nobody wants to take any sorts of responsibility. Up to this date, we see that the CEO of the National Water Commission, he was on introduction at his job, and since then they have come up, or they're in the process of coming up with some sorts of payment package for him so that he could leave the job as a very rich man, paid for a couple of years. So in other words, there was no sorts of repercussion. He just did what he did and he got away with it, and he is still getting paid. Think he's probably getting 80% of his pay while it is under investigation. However, there's a big severance package coming up for him in the near future. I am going to let you hear from a couple of persons that are pro the NEPA. I am speaking about the CEO. His name is Mr. Peter Knight, and also Nadine Robinson. She is in charge of environmental enforcement. Take a listen, take a look to exactly what they had to say, and then I'll give my piece.
The officer who was assigned spent 10 months saying that there was a breach. Each of our officers has a field book. each of our officers has a site notice book, and each of our officers knows that if there are breaches identified, that there is a process to follow. One thing triggers another, and it is escalated when you do your job and you escalate that matter. Nothing like that happened for 10 months.
Once it is that you see a breach, the procedures require you not to write that there is a breach and then walk away. You are issued a site warning notice book, and you are expected to issue a site warning upon observing any breach. And that is the failure that we recognize in the process. So we do acknowledge that the process broke down, and that is the reason for the investigation.
So based on what Mr. Peter King is saying, the person who they would consider the whistleblower, he is a junior person in a NEPA. His name is Mr. Ryan Henry. This man is telling you that Mr. Ryan Henry is not the scapegoat. What Mr. Ryan Henry did wrong is that he identified the breach. However, he did not tell his supervisor the breach that would triggered or initiated a further investigation. He pretty much sit on the report for about 10 months like some mother hen had some sorts of eggs. So therefore, that is why he is claiming that this report was not sent, it was not accelerated. So therefore, when the DPP got the file, it took 10 months and then the next 2 months. What about that 2 months? It took NEPA 2 more months after that 10 months that was delayed to put the file to the DPP so that she could make a ruling before the time had elapsed or the statute of limitation had run out. So again, we can identify that these people are in denial. They are covering up for the Barnetts. No sorts of repercussion, no sorts of backlash for the Barnetts. However, the person that did his job and reported this, who you would consider the whistleblower that should be protected, he is the one that is getting the wrath. He is the one that is getting the brunt of everything that is bad. So that was Mr. Knights. Mr. Nadine Robinson said the same thing. She is the enforcement officer for NEPA. That is her title. She said that Mr. Henry, again blaming Mr. Henry, he issued an report. He identified the breach. However, he did not trigger it. He did not write the report and send said report to his superior officers. So again, they are making him out to be the scapegoat, or they are making him out to be the person that is blamed for everything. However, both of them, Mrs. Knights and this lady, saying that he is not the scapegoat. He just did not do his job. So those were two persons from NEPA representing NEPA, standing up for NEPA and trying to blame this young youth, junior officer in a NEPA for everything that went wrong. I am going to let you take a listen to what two persons has to say. The first person, her name is Danielle Archer. She is a part of some sorts of commission that speaks about or represent the people of Jamaica as it pertains to integrity. The next person that you're going to hear from, her name is Diana McCullough. She is a part of the Environment Trust, and she is going to also give her piece and tell you what she feels about this cover-up and somebody being blamed, somebody being the scapegoat for these criminals in these high places. Take a listen, take a look.
I've had a look at the alleged letter, and whilst I understand that they're seeking to do investigations, the tenor of the letter suggests that their position is that that which the person has done has brought the entity into disrepute. I think the investigation should not be focused on looking at the person who made the report, if that is so, or that provided information about the KSMAC, if that is so. I think the position should be that somebody should have taken responsibility for what has been going on and ongoing at the entity. And whoever did the review, they have their authority to decide whether a prosecution should go ahead. And if they didn't, who did they refer it to? And when, I sat on NRCA board twice a long time ago now, I concede that, so many things should have changed. But decisions to prosecute were not taken at a junior level then. Most of them came to the board. So that's what really I want to know. Who took the decision not to prosecute? Or was it a question of the file just languishing, which is an equally likely scenario, you know, that the reports were sent in, they were put on a file and just no action was taken.
So people, we've heard from the people representing NEPA, and now we are hearing from the people that are representing the people. That means that they don't have any sorts of ulterior motive. They are more likely to tell the truths. Miss Archer, she is making you know that she is very disappointed in that the superiors in superior position in the company, NEPA that is, were not held accountable. They did not trigger or make this report go off to the DPP so that this man, Mr. Barnett, and his wife could be held liable, could be charged for some sorts of misconduct or criminal act. Instead, they are claiming that this man, Mr. Ryan Henry, is putting NEPA in disrepute. So therefore, him a dirty up the reputation of NEPA. So we can clearly see that these persons are never concerned about anybody that is doing any sorts of criminal act. Once that person is a criminal in high place, the thing that they are worried about is protecting their cumbolo, protecting their name and reputation dirty. However, they don't mind dirtying up the name of a junior officer so that he could be the scapegoat, be the person that everybody points the finger at and said, yes, I him call it, there goes the bad guy, say hello to the bad guy. So Mrs. McCullough is making you know that, listen, she is surprised by the finding of NEPA and their action. Because as far as she is concerned, from her expertise or experience, usually it is the senior members, the board, that make any sorts of action as it pertains to prosecution. So therefore, they are now blaming this junior officer as the whistleblower that is doing his job and making sure that Jamaica corruption gets cleaned up. However, that is exactly what they don't want. They want to protect themselves and protect their cumbulos. So therefore, they are claiming that this person puts NEPA in disrepute in pretty much a dirty up the name of NEPA, which is already dirty. Now people, here's the facts about a lot of these KSAMC and NEPA. A whole lot of these superior officers that are working there, whenever they go to any sorts of big development and they realize any sorts of breaches, they are not going to report it either. And I am speaking about top politicians, top members of parliament, Rete, Lele, Blue, blah, bling. What they do is come up with some sorts of deal with these big developers, meaning in order for the development to go on, you will have to turn over a couple of apartment complexes, a couple of townhouses, and everything is resolved. People, this has been going on for decades, and it will never change based on the actions of the top people in a NEPA. All of them are criminals. All of them are out for the taking. All of them, all they do is lie and deny, as is the case in this case, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. And last but not least, please subscribe to my next channel. It is called Jamaica Dancehall Source. I'll be pinning the link to that channel in the description of this video. Bless up.